How is it hanging, YouTube? Peter here, your ginger Geordie geek. Welcome back to the channel. And if this is your first time joining me, this is my interview show where we talk to a fellow geek, nerd, collector, whatever you want to call them. We'll talk about their hobbies, their collections, and we'll look at some of the items in their collection. Now, over the moon tonight because we've got a bit of a special guest. So we've got Hale Leviathan on the show, and Hale Leviathan is a tremendous nerd. He collects all kinds of stuff, but he's also what I would class as a compère extraordinaire. This guy has met and interviewed some very, very impressive people. So looking forward to getting into the chat with him. So please welcome Ben to the show. How are you, Ben?
Hey, I'm good, thanks. You?
Not bad at all, mate. Not bad at all. Looking forward to this chat. So obviously I've met
Can I just say before we dive into anything, thank you for asking me on. I'm over the moon.
No, honestly, I first kind of, sounds really creepy to say it. I saw you. I don't think I talked to you, but I saw you at For the Love of Horror a few years back when I was there with some pals, and I was blown away by your comparing skills on the stage. You must have balls like bloody, apples, because you commanded the room. It was very impressive. And then obviously we interacted and we've talked on a few occasions.
Yeah.
And then at last year's For the Love of Horror, you were very, very kind and helped and sort us out some tickets to see some films and things like that, which were spot on.
So that, obviously, I think I got to know you through Ben Crampton.
That's right, yeah.
Around the time of the Obi-Wan Kenobi podcast we did.
Yeah.
But obviously that was my introduction to you, and then I saw you and James T. Keegan flying past at Love of Horror last year. 2 seconds earlier, the guy from Sony had gone, "Do you know anyone who wants to go to this screening tonight? We've had a few tickets come up," and I just seen you guys fly past and was like, I do,
Yeah.
give me a second.
And I have to say, what a treat that was, getting a kind of a UK premiere of. And I mean, I haven't talked to you about it, but what I thought was an absolutely cracking movie. We're talking Thanksgiving. It was just, spot on. So yeah, a great.
That was a fun little room. I don't know if you realised, like the kid from Terrifier was sat behind you, and it was just wild.
Yeah, it was great. And we'll talk a little bit about For the Love of Horror later on, because that's something that's a stable part of my calendar now. I love going to that. So looking forward to it. We're all booked up, looking forward to this year as well. Just going to quickly jump into the chat, say hello to a few people. We've got Fuzzy Dunlop. Nice to see you, Fuzzy. I hope you are well, my friend. We have got Dr. Von Hoot. Always good to see you. I always tell this story, Ben, to people who might not have been on the show before. Have you ever met or seen the good doctor, Dr. Von Hoot?
I don't think so. If I have, I can't put a thing to the face.
No, mate. You would remember. So do you see the image there? The kind of the owl face, and that he wears that on YouTube. But he also wears it wherever you go. So we met him in Weatherspoons, and he was dressed in a cape with the face. Tremendous, absolutely.
Fair play.
Fair play. Centre of London.
You're going to live in the gimmick.
Yeah. But yeah, he's a good man. We've got my pal Terry, Dead Man. Always good to see you, Terry. I hope you are well. And we've got Danny. Always nice to see you as well, Danny. Okay, we've got lots to get through tonight, bud. So I'm going to start off with a nice, easy question for you. Backstory. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I'm interested to know a couple of things from you. First of all, what your collecting habits are, what your kind of your go-to things are, but also tell us a little bit about how you got into being a compère extraordinaire, hosting on some of these massive stages that you do host on.
It's to be fair, the comparing thing is it's a strange one. The collecting thing I've done my entire life since I was. My first memory of ever reading was a Spider-Man comic, the old Spider-Man reprint. I literally, my first memory is reading that. And then I bought comics right through the 90s, QVC, Collector Buzz.
Oh, God, I miss QVC. I miss QVC, getting some signed shit. It was...
Dynamic Forces.
Yeah.
There's honestly, only 150,000 comics in existence.
Honestly, this glow-in-the-dark Blair Witch comic will be worth millions in the future because there's only 4 billion of them made. It's like, I'll have it. I'll have it.
That was it. It was so strange. So I've got, with good reason, because they had bigger print runs than most comics ever see now. So I've got tons of signed shit, loads of early days of image stuff, like your Youngblood, your Spawn, all signed by Liefeld and whatever. And then what people might not realise is the QVC depot is, well, it's not over there, but it's in Liverpool.
Right.
So at one point I had my mum, my high school girlfriend and her best friend and someone else all working in QVC at the same time. So every birthday and Christmas,
all
there's
you
the
got.
staff shop. Oh, that's all I got. Signed Jeremy Bullock trading cards, Spider-Man watch, everything.
Lots of kind of fruit blenders and things like that.
Loads of
Yeah.
tat. But I've got a loft full of X-Files comics and everything.
Oh, nice.
So my main three things that I collect is the comic books, which not so much anymore because you've got to be committed to comics, DVDs, Blu-rays, and toys. Okay. And it's not. Yeah, I mean, I collect other shit, so I have pin badges, but toys, action figures mostly, DVD sets and comic books is my physical media stuff you can touch.
Yeah. You get struck off for saying that, Ben, on the internet.
That's very true. Very true. Don't get cancelled just yet.
Yeah, Ben's no longer hosting for the love of. Yeah, no. Toys is interesting. I didn't know you were a big toy collector. So what kind? I mean, you show some tonight, I would imagine. But what kind of toys?
Yeah, I've got a couple there. So I used to be really big on Marvel Legends. They were like my jam from 2002 to about 2014 was when I knocked it on the head, and I had little bits from every series, and I never, by and large, never used to open them. I had like the movie, I had Ben Affleck Daredevil, Thomas Jane Punisher. I had the big Fantastic Four, The Thing. Still got a few. And then there was, remember when B&M first was a thing?
Yeah.
The B&M by me had every single Marvel Legend from about 3 waves for like £3 each.
Wow.
So me and my ex-girlfriend went in and bought everything that they had, everything, and then sold it all on eBay and paid for ourselves to go to Leeds Festival. And then I found out about a year later she'd kept one of each for herself.
Really? Cheeky bugger.
Well, to be fair, I should have done it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Marvel Legends, the Movie Maniacs, anything like that. I don't really do Funko Pops.
No, I can't. I don't understand Funko Pops. I just don't. It's something that's never. It's just never appeared. No offense to anybody that might be watching that.
No,
but
not
you know. I mean, if you like to collect tat, that's up to you. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, that's just not my cup of tea.
I have a few. I've got Ryan Gosling from Blade Runner. I've got a Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and I've got 2 from Twin Peaks, and that's it.
Very cool. Yeah.
Can't go wrong with Twin Peaks.
I was going to say, yeah, you've hit some of the classics there, I guess. You've hit some of the classics. So how did you get into the kind of the convention scene and things like
that? The long story is I always wanted to go into acting, performing, music, whatever of some kind. So not a lot of people know this. When I was in sixth form, I was sick in the first year of sixth form. I had to repeat the year, and they threw me into performing arts for A level because it was the only thing that fitted in with my other subjects. Performing arts went from you've got to do this to fit in to it's my main subject. I got an A in A level and won 4 competitions and a national cup.
Wow. Yeah.
Within 5 months of acting. And then I went to uni and then dropped out because I wanted to be a rock star man. Did that for a while and then did nothing for a few years. A couple of guys got me on board to do a podcast with them. That was going quite well. And one of the guys booked guests for us to interview, which was cool. And then he booked David Patrick Kelly, who was in the Warriors, and David doesn't do interviews, just doesn't do anything. That was me, not from that, sorry. So David doesn't do anything like that. So we interviewed him twice. This guy wants to put a Warriors convention on and couldn't get hold of David Patrick Kelly, and when he Googled him, I came up. So that was the way in. He basically asked us to put him in touch with David. David didn't want to do it, but thanks for the offer, but no thanks. And the guy said, because you've reached out for me, have tickets to one of my shows. We went to the show. sorry, two of the guys went to the show. I didn't go. And then he goes, I'm putting a horror convention on. Do you know anyone who'd be interested in hosting? And they said, yeah. Ben.
Yeah.
So I did a couple for him. And when I was waiting to be booked by him, MCM Comic Con booked me to do a show for them, just based on our old podcast. And that my first ever on stage interview was David Hayter from Metal Gear Solid.
Wow.
Manchester MCM. For the best one, yeah. It's huge.
Yeah. Jump straight in at the deep end, really.
Yeah. They said, we'll book you for 2 shows over the weekend. The Saturday morning, you're going on. You've got David Hayter. You've got an hour podcast, record a live podcast, put it out and tag it with MCM. It's like, great. What are we doing on day 2? And I'll do what you want. So day 2, we did a nerdy variety show with a quiz. It wasn't as good as the first day, but it was good. It was good fun and it was learning experience.
Yeah. And then you've done them ever since, really, haven't you?
Yeah.
So what cons are you involved with these days?
So freelance, I'll work for anyone who wants to pay me. But mainly Monopoly events will be my main home, and they've looked after me very well. They've got to thank Andy and Jason and James and everyone there. They know what I can do. They give me a shot whenever they need me. They've got like a rotating lineup of hosts, some very, very good hosts, and I'm lucky to be part of that. And for the love of horror, they've booked me for that from 2019 right the way through. I'm doing this year's as well. I've already been booked for that, so I'm very, very excited. And as a horror guy and a nerdy guy, they've let me loose to do some cool stuff. So I'm very, very grateful.
I'm very jealous. Do you know, I was looking at your Instagram. Obviously, I've seen you for the love of horror on stage with some of these gods. I mean, you interviewed one of my all-time bucket list people, and we'll talk about him later on. One of my all-time favourite movies, Fright Night. So that was just a stunning interview. But I've looked at your images on Instagram, and I'm going to show them later on. But it's just like a who's who. But also, it goes from Hollywood A-listers, to horror icons, to Boise from Only Fools and Horses. And I'm thinking, I love it. I love that it's just, it's.
Do you know what? That was a good one. They give me it was Comic-Con Liverpool 2020, and it was when Monopoly going through transition. They were getting the old host out and bringing SoCal Val in, bringing me in, bringing some others in. So that was so there's 3 or 4 hosts on that show, and they said to me, "You've got Ryan Hurst from Sons of Anarchy. You can do Brian Blessed again. You've got Ray Wise from Twin Peaks, who ended up cancelling. Give me all these names." And he went, "And you're doing the Only Fools and Horses panel?" I was like. Me? Giving me the Only Fools and Horses panel? Yeah, go on, you do that. And then I went to see Boise and Marlene, and Phil Pope got involved as well, who was the guy who sang Quiet. Yeah. And as we walked in, he went from being John Chalice, lovely man, to Boise, and turned it on for the audience. Yeah, do you know what? She was ace. They were both in costume, really funny, interacting with the audience. And I said to him almost halfway through, can you give us the famous laugh? And he was like, I'll do the famous laugh when you give me 20 quid. Everyone burst out laughing. I forgot about it. And as we were walking out, I went, "Oh, John, I never got the laugh out of you." And he went, "I never got me 20 quid, did I?" I just walked off. And then he was ace. There was so much I wanted to ask him. He was friends with Ice-T. Did you know that?
That's not a mix you would imagine. Is it?
Boise and Ice-T became friends on Twitter, and do you know when something slips your head? Yeah. And I was just kind of like, how do you know Ice-T? Just sending each other Christmas messages.
Superb. Right, mate, we're going to quickly jump into the chat, say hello to a few more people. Von Hoot is just saying he got Stanley signed X-Men off QVC. Oh. Yeah, Stan did a lot for them, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Do you know what? I miss QVC. The Dynamic Forces side of things. I didn't like all the cack they sold. But yeah, the Dynamic Forces stuff was good. Was pretty good. Fuzzy, my mum bought me a hairbrush with a built-in FM radio off QVC. For all hours I'd spent brushing my hair, obviously. Yeah, I mean, yeah, good stuff.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. Oh. We've got Empire Strikes. Nice to see you, Phil. Hope you are well, bud. Hope you are well. Phil is a big 1/6 scale collector, same as me. They've just put out a Hot Toys Deadpool Wolverine, which is just phenomenal. Absolutely.
The mask as well.
Yeah. Looks amazing. We've got Ian. Nice to see you, Ian. Hope you're well, bud. Fuzzy, is David Hayter the guy who always plays the president?
No, David Hayter's Solid Snake.
Solid Snake, yeah. I'm not sure.
What was really cool with David Hayter was he wrote X-Men 2 and he wrote the Watchmen movie.
Really?
Yeah, and he was in a movie called Guyver, Dark Hero.
Oh, I think I've seen that. I've seen that. Based on an anime thing, wasn't it? Guyver, I think.
That's Mark Hamill's in the first one, so David Hayter's in the second one. He's a lovely, lovely fella, but he was replaced by Kiefer Sutherland in the fifth game, I think. Yeah. And then they worked the convention together. They got a little selfie, just like
stare each other out. We've got James. Nice to see you, James. Bud. Hope you are well. My friend. And we've got Jack. Always a pleasure to see you, Jack. Dr. Von Hoot met SoCal Val at a con once. Super nice.
Oh, she's lovely, man. She's one of the other hosts at Monopoly. She was I think she was a ring girl on TNA Wrestling about 20 years ago, and then became a backstage presenter. And she's from the wrestling world. She's American, but she's ace. She's really, really nice.
James is in love the photos interviewing the hobbits.
Oh man, thank you.
They look like such a fun bunch as well. They look like a nice group of guys.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, that was super surreal doing that. Yeah. I'd met with Elijah Wood a few years ago, and he was lovely, but the rest of them were just ace.
Yeah, super. Right, we'll get to chat about them in a little bit as well. Okay, Ben, show us your first item. So what have you brought to show?
I'm going to start with comics because I've got quite a bit. My first one is the first
Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah. And it's the original Canadian newsprint one from, I want to say 2003, maybe. Let's have a look. The first edition of Scott Pilgrim, July 2004.
Very cool. Love a bit of Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah,
one of my favourite movies as well, mate.
Well, I caught onto it. I think it was book 2, when I first bought it, and that was me. So I bought it in order, obviously. And then I found out they were making a film around 2 or 3, and then 6 came out around the time. And then they've not really done much since. But there's a box set coming out this summer for £200, and it's hardback colour reproductions of the entire thing in a big PlayStation 2 box.
Nice. That sounds nice. They did I think it was Netflix. They did an animated show not so long ago, which was pretty good actually. I watched that. But it was
the full cast of the movie, I believe, as well.
Yeah. It's a very cool movie. I have to admit, and it's bad to say as a comic nerd, I don't think I've read the story, but I have seen the film. You know, I probably need to go back and read the book.
It's, to be fair, until the end, and it's more or less identical. Yeah, like it's Dennis Haysbert, from 24.
Okay, I'm gonna push you now, Ben. I'm gonna ask you a challenging question. Favorite film? If you were stuck on the desert island, that kind of stuff, and you could only watch one movie on repeat for the rest of your days, what movie would it be?
It's Jaws. Jaws.
I thought you said Jaws. I thought you said straws. I thought straws. That's a new one.
Yeah. Paper or plastic, they're both as bad as each other. Jaws, the original Jaws. Been my favourite film my whole life.
You did hear us say you're on a desert island surrounded by water. Yeah?
That's true. As long as I'm not leaving. I'm okay.
Yeah. No,
Jaws has always been my favourite. There's plenty of films in my top 10 that have rotated in and out, but my top 5 has pretty much been the same for years. Jaws, The Thing, The Shining, Evil Dead 2, Aliens.
Yeah, all top notch.
Like,
although I'm going to say something really unpopular, because I'm a horror fan, and I have to say again, bucket list people. I'm telling you all of my bucket lists, Ben, just in case you can kind of sort it out in the future for us. Do you know what I mean? For the love of horror, but I'd love to meet the Chin. I've never met Bruce Campbell. You know, he's a bucket list.
Tried for a couple of years, but it's not happened for one reason or another. I know the boss and the bookers have all tried and stuff. Bruce does what Bruce wants to do. I met him 2018 at a book signing in Manchester. He did Walker Stalker the week before. We met him in Manchester. It was 20 quid. You got an autographed copy of his autobiography, one autograph, a photo, and an hour with Bruce Campbell, like an evening with.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
he is Ash. He's
see,
Ash.
I'd just love to meet him. But I went back and watched Evil Dead 2 and I struggled a little bit with it. His performance is amazing. Don't get us wrong. Amazing. But yeah, I don't know. It didn't excite us in the ways I'd remembered it exciting us. I think I prefer Army of Darkness. Yeah, it is.
No, hands down, Army of Darkness is the better film. I think Evil Dead 2 for me for nostalgia.
Yeah.
It was the first proper horror I remember. I mean, Halloween was the first horror movie I ever saw. Evil Dead 2 was the one where I stayed up after bedtime and watched it, and that bit with the hand comes off. And yeah.
So pushing you a bit further then, if I had to ask you to pick a superhero-based movie, something in the kind of the tights and capes kind of arena, what would be your go-to watch there?
Ooh, that's a good point. I like a lot of superhero films. I've either owned them or seen every single one of them, from the terrible right the way through to the sublime. I like the terrible 1997 Spawn.
Yeah.
I like Ben Affleck's Daredevil. The superhero movie that I go back to more than any other, I think, is X-Men First Class.
Okay, that's a good one.
Because it's got a bit of everything. It's a 1960s spy movie. It's an action movie. It's got your superhero tights and flights. It's got the team aspect of it. It's got a banging soundtrack by Henry Jackman. Love it. There's just a lot going on. And then when I watched it a couple of weeks ago, for some reason I'd forgotten that Michael Ironside, Ray Wise, and James Remar all have cameos in like one little sequence. Boss.
Yeah,
really good fun.
It's and Kevin, I love Kevin Bacon. He's in that as well, isn't he?
He is.
I just love it. It's a very cool pick. Very cool pick.
Yeah. Okay. Got a Wolverine cameo as well.
Yeah, and a really good Wolverine cameo.
Yeah.
I mean, because that could have been cheesy, but it's just done and delivered perfectly. So yeah, it's a very cool one. Oh, Fuzzy. I remember that movie, Meteor Man. I remember watching that. Begging for it to be made. Oh, I'd watch it.
Do you remember Blank Man from around the same time? Damon Wayans. Damon Wayans, like, he's clearly autistic or neurodivergent, and he wants to be a superhero, and he's like a vigilante, but he's like a homemade superhero.
No, I don't think I've seen that one.
I don't know how well it's aged, but I loved it as a kid. I watched it loads.
I'll have to go back and check. You know what? There's some really cool older superhero based movies and things. I mean, I'll mention it at the end, we'll do another show on my channel where we'll look at old films, and we've recently done the Roger Corman Fantastic Four and things like that, which is actually really good. But one of the ones that keeps coming up that people keep saying do it is the David Hasselhoff Nick Fury.
I've seen that. Oh my god, David Goyer wrote that.
Yeah. So I'm keen to go back and look at that one. James is saying, love Army of Darkness. Yeah, it's just so funny. It's just mad, but it's funny. Ian, here's my boomstick. Yeah. Really enjoyed the latest Evil Dead as well. Have you seen that one?
Oh man, loved it. We had her last year, Mommies with the Maggots.
Yeah.
She said I was her first interview about the movie because it came out during the strike.
Really?
Yeah. So I
took my wife to see that one. My wife wasn't very happy at how graphic it was. I think I might have told her it was a romantic comedy. But no, James, my co-host on One Good Scare, he got our autograph up for the love of horror, and I can't remember the line, and I probably can't say it, but there's a very rude line she says about the kids, and
being parasites.
Yeah. And he asked her, dead embarrassed. He said, "Well, would you mind writing that?" Yeah, absolutely. And she wrote that on his photo. So yeah, it's tremendous.
She was really, really nice.
Yeah.
I was a little bit intimidated by her because obviously she's absolutely stunning. She's about a foot taller than me. She's an Australian supermodel. Yeah. And I thought she was Australian. And I walked over. She went, "All right." I was like, "Okay, now I forgot you were Australian." She went, "Yeah, let's have it." Come straight on.
Yeah, just lovely, just superb. Yeah, and like I say, cracking movie. I wasn't I wasn't expecting to enjoy that as much as I did enjoy it. You know, I thought it was
good fun, wasn't
really
it?
cool. Just before we move off movies, because I think we could talk movies all day. Probably one of my favourite movies of the last few years, horror-based movies. Just wondering if you've seen Lie to Me.
Oh,
Sorry, Talk to Me. Talk to
yes,
me.
yes.
Yeah,
Sorry, talk to me. Yeah, love it.
Yeah,
Loved it.
yeah.
Really
It's
enjoyed
amazing.
that.
Yeah, just a very, very cool movie.
They're doing the
Okey
second
doke.
one, aren't they?
Yeah.
Did you know they were YouTubers, the guys who made that?
Oh no, I didn't. No.
So they were two Australian YouTubers, literally like similar to yourself, like with a channel, doing their own content,
Yeah.
and they started off backyard wrestling into doing more stunt videos, into doing more narrative videos, and then made that.
Very cool.
And it's with the guy who produced Bluey, the kids cartoon.
Yeah. I mean, I was just blown away by that movie. So yeah, that's impressive. Okay, mate. Show me your next item. What else have you got to show?
Right, I'm going to do comics, toys, Blu-rays. So let's do, sticking with horror, Night of the Creeps, Blu-ray, but signed by Fred Decker.
Wow, look at that.
So that was one of the guys got that signed for me when we had Fred over in 2019. Night of the Creeps, one of my favorite ever movies. Was unreleased in the UK before that edition, DVD and a Blu-ray, little booklet. Just loved it as a kid, love it more as an adult. It's aged really well, and I've been lucky enough to interview the director and one of the stars, so that's a little bit of everything for me there.
So I don't think I've seen that movie in maybe 10, 15 years. I'll have to go back and try and get a hold of that one.
Oh yeah, so that's the first time it was out in the UK since VHS.
Yeah.
So it's a Blu-ray and a DVD with loads of extras and. Cool. Both endings as well.
Von Hoot's a massive horror fan. He loves Night of the Creeps. Very cool.
Underrated, man. It's an underrated classic. It was ripped off relentlessly by James Gunn for Slither. Right. Don't know if you ever saw that.
Oh, I've seen Slither. That's the one with the big slug things, isn't it?
That's it. Night of the Creeps.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. We've kind of touched on it already, but one of the questions I always ask guests is claim to fame. Just going to put a little image up here of some of your some of the people that jumped out on Instagram. I'm gonna be honest with you, Ben. Some of the people on here, I'm crap with names, okay? So I'll apologise for not getting the names right. But some of the people on here, I just thought, oh, you bastard, you've spoke to, you've got Flash Gordon there. I mean,
he's lovely. He's so lovely.
You've got Optimus Prime and Megatron. You interviewed Peter about both of them.
So I didn't interview them, Val did, but I was looking after, I was doing the microphones of the crowd and I was taking them back and forth. So I picked them up from their guest green room and walked them through. And I had my own little private interview with the two. Frank Welker is the loveliest man. So nice.
I'm a massive Transformers nerd. I went to the anniversary cinema showing, which was on a week or two ago, where they showed the first 4 episodes of the original cartoon. But for the first episode, they do a table reading, so they got them all back in to do a table reading.
Wow!
And he just came across as a real mischievous, fun kind of guy.
Cheeky.
Yeah, just amazing. Just amazing.
I really love Scooby-Doo, and I was walking across with Frank through the Liverpool Link Bridge, and it was pretty quiet, taking him to the panel. And I said, I love Scooby-Doo, Frank. And I was like, I'd love to meet most of the cast, and I'd love to meet Matthew Lillard, and then Gray Delisle or Gray Griffin, and because she got married and changed her name. And he's like, she's got about 15 names. Who's she married this week? And just started really doing different voices.
Just amazing.
So nice.
Just amazing. Now, I would say, I've forgotten the chap's name from Scream.
David Arquette.
I was in the audience. I'm probably on that picture. I've never been to a panel where the guest has gotten someone from the audience to assault them and to do wrestling moves on them. It was like, what is happening? It was just incredible. Absolutely
David
incredible.
Had a brief career as a pro wrestler in the early 2000s and won the WCW championship. Which is, they reckon, one of the things that killed WCW. So then he attempted to relaunch his wrestling career, shall we say, just before the pandemic, and go for it as a legit independent wrestler. So there's a documentary called "You Cannot Kill David Arquette." So before that panel, I said to his agent, "I was like, should I ask him what he wants to do, what he's comfortable with?" He's like, he'll do anything. He doesn't care. I was like, yeah, but I'd rather hear that from him. No disrespect to yourself. He's like, no, I understand. He's like, but I'm telling you, he'll go with whatever he wants. He doesn't care. I went over and said, "Hi, David, is there anything I can do?" Yes, I'll do whatever you want, mate. I don't care. So my plan was, if you watch that video back, I started unbuttoning my shirt. My plan was, my shirt's coming off, and me and him, he's going to teach me to wrestle. And then that guy was like, "Will you do a chop?" And I was like, "This is even better."
Yeah. So for people watching, basically a guy from the audience came onto stage and did a chop, it's called, isn't it?
Which is just chopped him, right across the chest.
Unreal. Unreal. Fuzzy saying he nearly died doing so, bringing his wrestling.
Yeah. So they did like a hardcore match, and someone slit his throat with like a light bulb. And while I was talking to him, I could just see this big scar right across his throat where they had to like stitch him back up. He is a lovely human being, by the way. Like genuinely nice fella.
He came across on stage incredibly well. You know, he came across like just a nice, fun guy. Now, you've got a picture there with somebody who I'm a little bit obsessed with, and I'd love to. I don't know if they've been to For the Love of Horror before, but I am a huge nerd for when it comes to Inside Number 9.
Oh,
and you've
Reese.
got you've got a photo with Reese there, who I just adore. So, what was it like meeting him?
Yeah, it was what you expect, to be fair. He's very, very funny. He was doing a film festival in Manchester, and obviously we went to speak to him about things that have not happened, but obviously we would love to happen. And then I was introduced to him. Somewhat a friend of a friend was like, "This is Ben. He works for these guys. He's gonna have a chat to you about some stuff." And we got talking about various things. I said about convention life and stuff. And he said, "I never thought anyone would be really interested in it." And I was like, "Oh man," I was like, "You sell out arenas." I was like, "People would eat that up." And you're like, "Oh yeah, it's great." I once went to Waterstones and Mystic Meg was doing a signing. There was nobody there. And then just took a sip of his drink and went, "You think she'd have seen that coming?" He was lovely. That table when I was sat with him, they ushered me over, he'd broken his foot so he couldn't get up and walk around. There was him, Neil Marshall, Alice Creed, who was the ball queen in Star Trek First Contact. Oh gosh, freaking hell, what's his name? Mick Garris, Neil Marshall, and a few others dotted around, and they just plonked me in the middle of it. It was, I mean, I've done some cool stuff. That was surreal.
Incredible. So, these are a few that jumped out for me. What
Checkers.
about you, Ben? Checkers. Look at Checkers.
Loved a bit of Checkers.
Yeah, and you're looking very cool there, I have to say, Ben.
I was very hungover there. I'd been out the night before, went for a little early morning breakfast, was walking through my local town. My dad called me to see how I was, and then just started getting heckled. And I turned around and was like, "Dad, I've got to go. Keith Chegwood shouting at me." I mean, I thought I was taking the piss. And Chegwood was doing a tour around cash converters for the local radio. It was like a family fun day, and he was doing. He used to do a show called Swap Shop, so he was doing Swap Shop around the Merseyside area. And he just started giving me loads of abuse, and I went over and was like, "Can I get a photo?" And he was like, "Absolutely. Give me a big cuddle. Got a picture." Just genuinely lovely bloke.
Yeah. So, you've met an awful lot of people. Like I say, I've picked a few out here that stand out. Just give a couple of standouts for yourself. Who have you really enjoyed meeting?
Meeting or interviewing?
Interviewing, well, either. Whatever.
Either. For me, Tom Atkins he's right up there. Always wanted to meet him as a kid, and then got to work with him. He's older now. He's hard of hearing. So Sean Clark got involved in the interview, and it was. He's like my little horror granddad. He was ace. Peter Weller from RoboCop is a force of nature. He's cool. Who else? Kane Hodder. There's just been loads where I've just got, where I've done something and then it's finished, and you sort of go, "I can't believe I've just."
Surreal.
Yeah, and then the thing with Love of Horror is it's so fast paced. Like, we have more panels than any other convention. It's back to back to back to back to back, like a Glastonbury Festival of Horror. And then about 2 days later, it sort of hitches to what's happening.
Yeah.
The Lost Boys one was
Yeah, very special, very special. And I love For the Love of Horror, and we'll talk about it, like I say, near the end. But one of the things that it's got that I think a lot of conventions haven't got is that central kind of area where there's just a whole load of seats and the stage is there. And if you wanted to, you could literally just plant yourself there and be entertained all weekend. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to move.
People do,
yeah. It's just a great environment. We'll ask you a little bit more later on about some of the interviews because a few guys have sent in questions, Ben. So we're interested to get some questions about.
Could have a beer.
Why not?
Came prepared.
So, what are you drinking? What's that?
Madrid.
Oh, very nice. Spanish. So show one other item, Ben. What else have you got, bud?
What have I got? Let's have a look. Should we go? Let's do Blu-rays.
Fuzzy's just pointing out he can't believe we also check us as Willie. He never got over it.
Do you know what? I spoke to him about that. He said, "Oh, I love all your tattoos. I love your tattoos, mate." I was like, "Cheers, Checkers." He went, "I've got a tattoo on me, Willie." He goes, "It says AIDS, but then when I get excited, it says Adidas." I went, "I've seen your Willie, Keith." And he just went, "Oh yeah." Which I never thought I would ever have that conversation. I've cheated slightly here. I picked two versions of the same film. I've got The Thing, the Arrow Collector's Edition from a couple of years ago.
I've seen that one before. Show us that one again, Ben. I've not seen that one.
And then that's the 4K box set. Arrow did a version of The Thing, and it crashed their website and sold out super fast.
I like that.
So you get the box, you get Blu-ray, art cards, a book, and double, as you do with Arrow, the double-sided poster.
Nice.
Classic.
Yeah.
There's like three different artworks commissioned for it. It was really good. A bit of a plug as well, because we've got the cast this year with us at Horror.
Yeah.
That's the big reunion for 2024.
So who's going to be there?
Everyone except Kurt Russell, basically.
Wow. That'll be amazing.
That panel's going to be...
yeah.
How do you top the Lost Boys?
Yeah, I mean, because that was amazing. Having Keith Sutherland there as well was just, unbelievable. What is it about The Thing? Because that, I have to say, one of my favourites. I love that movie. And also, I remember having was it the Xbox One game for a while? The Thing Xbox game?
That was cool.
Yeah.
So that's being remade, remastered, whatever, re-released soon for the PS. For me, again, sort of at a stupidly young age, but it's just a really, really good, scary, intense movie. The creature effects, the acting, the music, everything about it. I've just got a thing for John Carpenter, and I know he's very specific and he does a lot of similar things in the same cast, and he has like his little players that he uses in every film, but just love it. And it's so claustrophobic, the isolation and the desolation of the white snow, and then just that dum-dum.
Yeah.
Dum-dum, just...
Yeah. And I think, I mean, we talk about this on our channel a little bit. There's something for me about practical special effects, and it brings it makes it feel more realistic. Some of the more modern horrors that I've seen over the last couple of years, are great, and then it jumps to a CGI fest, and you think, oh, this just looks shite. This just looks crap.
And it takes you out of it.
Yeah.
This one has the 2011 Thing prequel in the box set. It's got the soundtrack, it's got the book, and it's got that 2011 movie, which I don't dislike. I know a lot of people didn't like it. I thought it was ace. And the one thing I did dislike was the CGI.
Yeah.
So about 2018, we interviewed Alec Gillis, who is like Hollywood special effects legend. He's done everything. And it was very cool. It wasn't a live one. But we done it like this with the split screen.
Yeah.
Got Alec up on his studio. We spent about 3 hours with him just talking.
Yeah.
And we only recorded an hour of it, and he showed us all around the studio and all this stuff. And then I said, The Thing. I was like, what happened with The Thing? Because I heard you've made everything practical, showed it to the studio, and they went, CGI, get rid of it.
Right. Yeah.
And he said, no, it was 60-40. It was going to be 60% animatronic, 40% CGI, and they were going to do the blend, and apparently it looked shit, so they just got rid of it.
Got rid of it.
Which is a shame.
Yeah, not good. Not good. Fuzzy saying nowadays every director uses the same actors, it feels like. I think they certainly have the go-to, the people they're comfortable with, don't they? You seem to see
Glenn
the same
Powell's the
faces.
new one.
Yeah, yeah. Next question for you then, Ben. Favourite hero? And it hasn't got to be comic book or movie related, it can be anything you want. Who stands out to you as a good hero figure?
First thing is when you came to mind when I read favourite hero, it was Daredevil.
Okay, you're a DD man.
So,
yeah, okay.
I've always been a Daredevil guy. Love the comics, the Frank Miller ones. I've been reading them since the 90s. I got a bunch of Frank Miller reprints and read them right through. The Bendis run, the Brubaker run, just love the character. Fallen off of comics a past couple of years, as I said, but when did I stop? Mark Waid. Read the Mark Waid run.
Yeah.
That was my last one, I think. So I've got quite a few to catch up on, but I like doing that, buying the omnibus or buying a big few paperbacks and blasting through.
Well, what I would say is the last couple of years of Daredevil have been phenomenal. But you probably want to read the Jason Aaron Punisher run that goes alongside it as well, because that's 12 issues, I think, and it's absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
I like Jason Aaron. Southern Bastards was a good one.
Yeah. That's very cool.
Yeah.
A lot of people like Daredevil. Are you hoping to see Ben Affleck in the Deadpool movie? Because that's been rumoured, hasn't it?
I've got a piece of the costume from the Ben Affleck Daredevil.
Have you?
Yeah.
Do you wear it? Do you put
it's
it
just
on?
a tiny. It was a trading card with a little cut-out piece.
Right.
I remember when I got it in the shop, and the guy had sold me it, and he was like, "Oh, Ben Affleck costume piece." I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "It could be from the crotch." I was like, "If I'm lucky."
He's smelling it.
The man without fear. After me. I'd love it if he popped up. I'd love it. I think it'd be ace. It'd be funny if he popped up as Batman, but I'd love to see him as Daredevil.
I would absolutely love that to happen. I don't know that DC would do it, or Warner Bros. Would do it, but it would be amazing if he did. Saying that, they kind of got away with it in the Kevin Smith movie, didn't it? Didn't he pop up in that, Ben Affleck?
Yeah, the Jane Silent Bob reboot.
Yeah. I'm sure he popped up in kind of a Batman-esque kind of thing in that, I think, from memory. But yeah.
There's a Daredevil cameo in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yeah.
When they're running through the Hollywood set, you see a guy in a Daredevil suit doing flips.
Yeah. Ian saying scratch and sniff Ben Affleck. Yeah, nice. Yeah. Okay, show another item, bud. What else have you got?
What have I got? Let's have a look. Do you know what? Let's go back to comics. This is a cool one. So I know you go to Thought Bubble. I went to Thought Bubble in 2015.
Yeah.
So Jeff's there signing comics, and I had loads of his creator-owned work. Everyone else was giving him DC stuff, Marvel stuff. He was doing X-Men at the time, I think. So I rocked up with this, the Underwater Welder, and something else to get signed. And I had a blank X-Men sketch cover, just that I was going to be cheeky with.
Yeah.
And he saw that I had all his own creator-owned stuff, so he did a Cyclops sketch for me on the X-Men, just a blank cover. And when he saw this, he went, "What's your name?" I said, "Ben."
Oh, wow, look at that.
And he done that.
Look at that.
I was just absolutely blown away. I wasn't expecting anything. But yeah, that was a hard. He was a lovely guy. And he's a great writer.
So he was at Thought Bubble last year, actually. And it was really bizarre because I was wandering around the aisles, and I know some of the guys in the chat, Dr. Von Hoot, people got signatures. I got a few books signed from him as well. But there was just this man sat at a table with almost like a bit of A4 paper folded over with a name written on it. It didn't look professional at all, and it was him.
It was him.
It was like, what the shit's going on here? Do you know what I mean? This is an A-lister kind of comic writer.
For me, top tier.
Yeah, but then when you started chatting with him, he was just lovely, really nice guy. And I know he did a few sketches for people as they were going around because he wasn't busy, because people weren't noticing he was there really to start with. But yeah, that's very cool. Very cool. It's nice when people do that, off the cuff,
That weekend, I got a few sketches that I didn't expect just because people felt like it. Yannick Paquette did me a Swamp Thing.
Right. Wow.
But he penciled it and then inked it.
Yeah.
I was like, if he gets the freaking colours out, oh, I really don't.
Well, you're pushing his pen case towards him. You know,
Yeah, just
pick
nudging it.
that green. That green will do. Yeah.
It was funny when he was sat next to a comic artist called Bengal from France. Bengal's an amazing artist, and he had his big ink pot when he was dipping the water and stuff. And he went to Bengal. Isn't it funny when sometimes you accidentally drink your ink water and think it's coffee, and he just went, "I've never done that." Just dead straight face. I've never done that. No.
No, it's not. No, shut up.
No, it's just you.
Yeah.
Lovely guy.
Very cool. Okay, mate. Now I want to know a little bit more about you in terms of what pisses you off. What boils your piss? What pushes you over the edge or irritates you?
Do you know what? I'm quite a laid back guy. You know, there's not a lot that really winds me up. Liverpool Football Club winning stuff is about as bad as it gets. I don't like. I get annoyed at myself more than anything. Like I'll read stuff back I've done, or I'll watch stuff that I've done, and that'll wind me up, and I'll dwell on things. But I'm not really an angry guy. Not. It takes a lot to wind me up, to be fair.
Yeah.
But then I don't know whether that's years of hanging around with Neil Hibbert, and we're like the perfect balance.
Do you just kind of even each other out, do you? Is that how it works? Yeah.
I love Neil so much. He's honestly like my brother, but he is like not an angry man. Is that would be the wrong thing? Neil is like, you're ready to go, and I'm like, man, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
We sort of balance. He even think I'm an absolute walkover, but we balance each other out.
It's strange because that sounds very much like myself and Mr. Keegan, who I do a lot of things with. We're very similar in terms of that dynamic. So turning that in its head then, Ben, how about a perfect day? What would be an ideal day for you in your life?
If I was just given a day to do whatever, off the top of my head, I'd go for a big, massive walk in the morning, throw a podcast on, or some music, have a nice walk, get a little cheeky breakfast, a little mid-afternoon snooze, maybe go to the shops, and then go to the cinema. Just a really, talking like a nice laid-back day.
Yeah, just a chilled, relaxing day. Very nice, very nice. Are you, when you go to the cinema, do you go with your friends and family, or are you a kind of a solo visit?
All three, friends, family, and on my own. I don't mind. There was a cinema by mine used to show early morning stuff. Now it's late.
Yeah.
We used to drop people off at school, drop the kids off, and then off we go watch a load of terrible films.
Yeah.
If you use the Cineworld card.
I'm off on Sunday because my wife's refusing to go and see Sting. Have you seen that one yet?
Yeah, I enjoyed that. It was B movie. As you expect.
I'm going to go and see that on Sunday, see what it's like.
It's honestly better than I expected, you know.
Okay.
I thought it was going to be arachnophobia rip-off, but it wasn't. It pays homage to other films that you will absolutely see what they've ripped off, but it's good. Okay. It's good fun.
Okay. Looking forward to that one. Okay, mate, show another item. What else you got in your collection?
Ooh, back to the DVD Blu-rays. I got this recently.
Oh, look at that. That's nice.
The Godzilla Criterion Collection. 15 kaiju classics. And then you can see it's all comic art on the inside. Different artists have had a crack.
That's stunning.
So, do you know what? It went out of print for ages, and I think they've done a new batch. Because I got it off Amazon. So, it's one from Jeff Darrow. 28, Godzilla versus Gigan, or Gigan, however you pronounce that. And this one really tickled me because Becky Cloonan did the art.
Oh, wow.
Which is cool. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Becky Cloonan.
Just hold that up to the screen, Ben, because I know we've got some Godzilla fans in the chat. Dr. Von Hoot saying he needs that Godzilla set in his life.
I think it's about 120 quid on Amazon at the moment, but you get 15 movies, and it's Criterion. So
that's very cool.
That's all right, isn't it?
That is very cool.
What I thought was ace was you get Godzilla Raids Again, King Kong versus... I didn't realise King Kong versus Godzilla was only the third movie. Mothra versus Godzilla, Ghidorah, it goes right the way through, destroy all monsters. But what's really cool is on the extras for the OG Godzilla, you get the Japanese one, but if you in the DVD extras, it's the entire Americanized version. Do you know where they re-chopped it up and put Raymond the Bear in from Ironside, and that's there. That's one of the extras.
Very nice. So I take it you're a big Godzilla fan then?
Although I do love a bit of kaiju action. What really, I sort of felt a bit ashamed that I'd not seen as many as I thought I had. So on that, I'd seen Godzilla, King Kong versus Godzilla, Mothra, and probably Destroy All Monsters. And I thought, I've not seen the rest. So I bought this. I'm just going to blast through. I've watched 2 of them so far. Yeah.
You see, I've probably watched a good chunk of them, but I couldn't tell you which one's which, because it was back in the day, it was Friday night TV, do you know what I mean? Slapped on late at night, and you'd just flick it on and it was like, oh, here's another Godzilla movie. But I probably couldn't tell you which one was which.
And you turn on about 15 minutes into it and you had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
So the one thing that stuck in my mind was the night before, what was the day of the 1998 Godzilla was released. Jonathan Ross did Godzilla Night on BBC Two.
Yeah.
And he showed loads of clips and like rated all the monsters, and then it was like, I think maybe Adam Buxton was on it or people like that, and they were interviewed about their favourite monsters, and they showed a couple after. Again, could not tell you. Oh, used to watch them on Bravo. Yeah. Same type of deal. So it'd be nice to just finally just plow through them all.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the MonsterVerse at the moment?
I enjoy it, man. I enjoy it for what it is. I've watched them all. I haven't seen the TV show, but I've watched all the movies.
Got halfway through Monolith, but I haven't finished it yet. But yeah, the movies are popcorn flicks. You go to see big things hitting things. Do you know what I mean? You're talking kaijus and stuff like that. Movie franchise, I think, died a death that should be brought back is Pacific Rim. I don't know if you saw those movies.
Man, I love Pacific Rim. The first one especially. That second one was a bit weird, but I dig it.
Yeah.
Did you see Godzilla -1?
Oh God, yeah. I haven't seen the black and white version. I need to see the black and white. Yeah.
I'm waiting for a 4K or a Blu-ray. It landed on Netflix about a week or so ago.
Yeah. But we were talking about this on one of the other shows. It landed without any kind of fanfare or it just kind of. I would have thought with the success of that movie, people would have been kind of, jumping that it was coming.
They didn't build it up. It just sort of plopped there on a Monday, and it was like now streaming.
Yeah, bizarre. Yeah. -1 best movie in years. I know Von Hoot was a massive fan.
Fantastic.
I've got used to the MonsterVerse movies and basically not giving a flying fuck about the human characters. And then -1 came out, and I genuinely was feeling myself getting emotional watching it because of the human element. And I thought, it's just superb. Yeah, superb.
What I thought was cool was that the American movies have gone more towards the crazy Japanese, throw everything against the wall, and the Japanese movies have gone more serious again.
Yeah. So
they've sort of like intersected, because 10 years ago we had Bryan Cranston looking for his dead wife and trying to solve mysteries, and now we've got -1, and we've also got Pink Godzilla punching the crap out of an ice monster.
Yeah. No, great, good popcorn movies, but yeah, -1 was just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Von Hoot's just saying apparently it was the most pirated film of all time online. So Toho did the Netflix deal fast. Oh, that's interesting.
That explains it all.
Yeah.
I want a 4K. I want a Blu-ray. I want loads of extras.
Yeah. So, favorite villain, Ben? Again, can be anything you want. When you think of favorite villain, what jumps to mind for you?
Growing up as a Marvel kid, you say favorite villain. I think Doctor Doom.
That's the right answer,
Yeah, he's just straight in there, Doctor Doom.
Yeah,
he's the ultimate Marvel villain. He's the ultimate superhero villain. It's mad that we haven't had a good cinematic version of him yet.
Oh, yeah, crazy. There's a great interview, with Stan Lee where he's asked about Doom, and his kind of take on Doom is that he's such a good villain because in Doom's mind he's not a bad guy, and he's not doing anything wrong. You can walk into New York and say I want to take over the world. There's no law against saying that, But yeah, just look. I particularly enjoy the versions of him we got in the Roger Corman FF. That was quite a unique look at him. But I think you're right. I think in the later movies, it's the guy from Nip Tuck, wasn't it? Julian.
Yeah. Julian McMahon.
Yeah,
he was awful. Well, he wasn't awful. The character was awful.
Yeah.
And then the second one, they give him a cool costume and I'd give him the Silver Surfer powers and didn't really do anything with him.
Yeah.
I'd love, and then the Toby Kebbell version. Ugh.
Yeah, let's not talk. Yeah. Hopefully we'll get something better in the new MCU. We've not had any casting on him yet, so it'll be interesting to see what comes from that.
I'd love to see a Cillian Murphy, Michael Fassbender type of...
Yeah. Well, for a while, there were rumour and Henry Cavill, and I was thinking that doesn't work for me. I don't think he's got no disrespect to the guy, because I think he's amazing as the Man of Steel, but he hasn't got the acting chops in terms of menace and evil to play Doom. I don't think.
He played a villain in Mission Impossible, and he wasn't particularly terrifying. He was just tough.
Just big. Yeah, he was big.
Recharged his arms.
Yeah. I do that. But yeah, no, he didn't do it. But Cillian Murphy would be a phenomenal choice. That would be amazing.
Just someone like that, someone who's cold, calculating, but also is very like, I'm right about things. And what if he's meant to be the same age as Pedro Pascal? You'd need someone like that.
Yeah. Okay, Ben. Show another item. What else have you got there, mate?
Keeping it Godzilla.
What the hell is that? What?
So he may look like a hedgehog, but he's Godzilla with tits. I bought this. I'll show you the box. So it's a Bandai Monsters Enshrine. My local Forbidden Planet was selling Godzilla merch. I thought, get this is awesome. Didn't realise he had these little
boobs. Yeah, Godzilla moves.
Nice. Kaijubes. But he's awesome. Toho Monsters Enshrined.
Hold the kids call him
the kids call him the Hedgehog.
That's pretty cute. I've never seen one of them before. It's just a solid chunk.
Yeah, it's like, I thought it was hollow or not. He's like Funko Pop scale maybe, but he's a lot cooler.
Nice.
So they had him, and they had just basically like a model of the -1 character. And I thought he's more cuter, more interesting.
Very cool. I like that. Fuzzy's saying Henry Cavill's CGI Tash was terrifying.
Oh, that was scary actually.
Yeah, not good. Okay, Ben, so this is a question that I normally ask for people who are kind of YouTubers, but I'm interested in your take. If you were going to watch a YouTube channel, is there any that you jump to, any that you enjoy watching in particular that you would go to?
So I watch like a lot of cooking programs and a lot of food bloggers and stuff. There's a guy called Maven Huffman who used to be a professional wrestler in the early 2000s. He won a WWE reality show. I watch him. He's now got a YouTube channel about life as a retired wrestler, and he's dead funny. He's dead honest. Really good show. Like he's going to start doing interviews and stuff, but he'll break down his life as a wrestler, and he seems like a decent guy, and it's a nice, easy watch, and he's very honest about like how shit he was and what he didn't know. That's cool. And then in terms of YouTubers doing our sort of stuff, I'd like to give a shout out to Ben Crampton, because I think the attention-seeking geek does not get the plaudits he deserves. So I'm giving Ben his flowers here, because I think he should be doing what I do, really.
Yeah.
But I think he should be up on the stage doing events, and I think he's a great guy. I think he's very funny, and I don't think he appreciates himself. So I'd love to see Ben, maybe not doing my job.
pinching your role. Yeah,
I don't want to get my work, but I'd love to see him doing what I do. I think he's fantastic.
Good stuff. What we'll do is we'll drop those links in the chat for people to go check out those channels. Now, what we've got next is questions from the great Instagram community. So brace yourself. These can sometimes be a little bit interesting. Okay, so James Keegan wanted to know, who would be your dream guest to interview? And I guess this can be anybody, past, present, alive, no longer with us. Who would be a person that you would say I would love to have interviewed?
The dream all along was Tom Atkins, and I've done it. So then I had to reassess what I wanted to do. The dream for people who are still alive is David Lynch and Kyle MacLachlan.
Oh,
Either
wow.
together or separately. I think they'd be fantastic. Kyle was doing Manchester Comic Con last year, and I threw my name in the hat. I was like, I don't care, whatever you do, I'd love to do that. And then he cancelled, so I never found out whether I was getting it or not. And for people who may no longer be with us, I would have said Wes Craven.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think he'd have been good.
Yeah. That
I've,
Wes
I've inter-
Craven would be incredibly interesting. Yeah.
well, I've interviewed a lot of people who've worked with Wes Craven over the years, and obviously as a fan, I'll always ask the questions. And they always get great stories. Like I interviewed the cast of People Under the Stairs, and they told me a story about this. The studio thought the film was terrible. The dailies coming in weren't great. And they came to bollock Wes. They couldn't find him, and he'd hid on the roof of the soundstage, just sunbathing, waiting until they all left. Just hid.
Superb. Superb. Tom Atkins, Chris Chin, yeah, Bruce Campbell, yeah, in Media.
What a film! What a film that was!
Superb, mate, superb. Okay, good one. Let's see what else we've got. Oh, now you might want to be careful with this, I guess. But have you had a bad interview experience?
Yes, I had one on a podcast a few years ago with someone I'm not going to name who was difficult, but I've heard they're great since. But I found them really difficult, and they were giving me one-word answers. I was like, "Oh, you played such and such. Let's talk about that." And he went, "Yep, it was good." I was like, "Oh, and did you enjoy doing this?" Yep. Just proper.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't even. I couldn't. It's like getting blood from a stone. And the other one, I can talk about because it was in front of many, many people, and lots of people saw it. Was a very drunk Andrew Bronowski who played Leatherface in the Texas Chainsaw remake. It was he was the last panel for the Love of Horror 2021. Didn't get filmed because there was no videographer back then, and Andrew had got trashed before. Apparently, he's a lovely guy. It was a difficult interview because he was half cut. And well, it wasn't half cut; he was fully cut. But there's a point where, as an interviewer, I knew that I could just destroy this, and it's not about that. It's about no matter how drunk he is, there's people in the audience there who paid to see him, who want to see him. So it's let's get them as much as they can out of this.
Yeah, that must be, but it must be so hard when you're on stage and you see the interview going in that direction, and you think, well, you've got to somehow try and salvage this or make it at least workable.
Yeah, he was up and down that weekend. I mean, I still love his films.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's a lovely guy. That it is just he might have just had a few too many on a quiet afternoon or whatever. But it was the last one of the weekend as well. So there's a good few people there watching still. And someone came up to me at the end and said, do you know how I know you're good at your job? And I went, what's that, mate? He went, because you look like you gave a shit. I had no idea what he was saying for about 10 minutes. Difficult. But yeah, it's one of those things. Sometimes it doesn't always go your way.
Yeah.
But I have to say that one.
Yeah, that sounds not good. We've got Efren from San Diego. Nice to see you, Efren. Hope you're well, bud. Did I get I knew Ben was coming on the show, so I got a haircut especially for him, just in case.
Yeah, I love it. Good, man.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, this is a good one. Have you ever been, or who have you most been starstruck by? Have you ever had one of those moments where you've just thought, "Wow, this is unreal"?
I don't know if it's someone I've interviewed where I've been starstruck. The most I've ever been starstruck in my life was I met Johnny Marr, who was the guitar player from the Smiths.
Wow, yeah.
And I couldn't get any words out. I literally just made a noise.
Yeah.
That was it. And he tried to talk to me as well. It wasn't like he just walked past. He's like, "Hey, mate, you're all right now."
Yeah. He probably, you know, oh bless. You know, it's nice that he's come out for the night.
Looking at me, missus, thinking it's my parent. Yeah. Honestly, but the worst thing was, we walked through the train station before it, and he was on the cover of Total Guitar magazine. And we were going to see, there's a band called Modest Mouse, and he was playing lead guitar for them just for that tour.
Yeah.
And then he goes, "What did you do? You met Johnny Marr?" I go, "Listen, Johnny, I'm a big fan. Grew up on the Smiths. Yeah, here's the Uncle Rachel on the guitar playing. Thanks for all the years of listening. She's like, yeah, that's good. That. And all I got was,
Tremendous. Von Hoot is saying that his Jet from Gladiators. I can see why.
yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah.
She's nice. I've met Jess. She's really, really nice.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, Jet's it. Yeah. Okay, last of the questions from the general public. Give us a wild story. I think they probably mean in relation to guests and things like that. I mean, I don't know. Do you get to socialise with them afterwards and things? Or?
Not really, no. To be fair, it's a very, very businessy environment because if they're there to work, well, most of them are there to work. Some of them are there for the baby, and it doesn't really get that wild. However, Dog Soldiers reunion in 2022.
I love that film.
Oh, it's amazing, and they're all from the northeast.
Yeah.
Neil and Craig and the producers and stuff. It's a northeast, but Neil Marshall, who I didn't really know Neil before that. I'd say he's a friend now. To be honest, I was out with him a couple of weeks ago, and it was we were all in the guest hotel where we were all staying, and I've met Pertwee a few times over the years. I'm really good friend. Craig Conway, love him to bits. Craig plays the compère at the start of Dog Soldiers, who gets killed.
Right. Yeah.
So Craig's there, big hug off Craig, love you, haven't seen you for ages. Pertwee, good to see you, man, it's been a while. And then went to watch Corey Taylor play his gig, and we came back. Marshall turned up, Darren Moss turned up, Janine Piper's there, Craig's still having a bevy. I get on the ale, and I'm working the next morning. I've got to be up at 6 to be in for 8 to be there. It wasn't wild, but everyone else sort of went to bed, and me and Sean Pertwee were there, drink for drink, and he's telling me stories, and we're having a laugh, and it's Pertwee, man. He's a raconteur, telling me about his dad and things like that. It's class. And he goes, right, mate, I'm off to bed. As he's standing up, some fella, I can't remember who it was, Mr. Pertwee, can I get you a drink? And Sean looks at this guy, looks back at me, looks at the doorway and goes, me and my mate will have a Moretti and sit back down. So the last two people out the bar was me and Pertwee. He left before me. I went to the toilet and staggered my way back to bed. And next someone said, wild last night. I heard Sean Pertwee was up drinking late with someone in the bar. And I was like, was he?
Terrible. Bad behaviour, yeah.
I was like, as if he'd do that the night before the convention. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah. He's one of my favourites. Obviously, he plays Alfred in Gotham, doesn't he? Which I absolutely love. But he's also the voice of MasterChef, the professionals.
Yes, he is. Yeah. Do you know what's funny? When we were having that bevy, I grilled him about Event Horizon and what went on with that. And then he was talking about David Mazouz, who played young Bruce in Gotham. Yeah. And how he had like a father-son relationship with him, because Sean's own lad was there that weekend because he was in Manchester. Yeah. So he was just sort of talking about being away from his family, and him and this kid developed a father-son bond. Do you know what? It was a genuine like Bruce and Alfred moment. I'm a big Batman fan, and we were just chatting about. Do you know what, man? With Sean Pertwee makes you the opposite of starstruck.
Yeah,
he makes you feel like you've known him for years. He's a lovely, lovely man.
Yeah. He comes. I have to say, in the interviews and things I've seen with him, he comes across as a genuinely nice guy. So yeah, very cool. Fuzzy is saying, I think this is a question for you, Ben. Why haven't hoverboards become an everyday way of travel yet? Martin McFly lied to us, I feel. So Ben, why haven't hoverboards become an everyday way of travel?
I don't know. Do you know what? It was meant to be 2015, that wasn't it?
It was. Yeah.
Elijah Wood was in that movie, Back to the Future 2.
Was he?
Do you know when the arcade machine and that's the little boy, that's Elijah Wood.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't realise that.
Yeah.
Wow. Very good. Yeah, incredible.
You never got me a hoverboard.
You can't get a hoverboard big enough to take my weight, I tell you. Show another item, Ben. What else have you got?
What have we got? Let's go toys again. I've got WWE. They Live, Roddy Piper action figure. Yeah. So they've done, you can see at the back, they did Roddy Piper and They Live, and they did The Rock from the Scorpion King. So they did WWE licensed Roddy Piper figure, but it's an official They Live figure.
So I'm going to be honest. I don't know or do wrestling. Why's that? Why's
Why is that a thing? I don't
yeah.
know. I know that Roddy Piper was a wrestler. I know that he was in They Live. What I didn't know was that WWE had the rights to make that figure.
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah,
So they've used because they obviously they make really cool wrestling figures.
yeah.
It's a house Mattel, but it's like a real fabric shirt. It's like
It's a proper nice figure.
it's a nice figure. You get the sunglasses. It's very cool. And then you think to yourself, why is WWE making this figure and not like NECA or Hasbro or someone?
It's random. It's random, is what it is, Ben.
Officially licensed, universal, like everything about it. It's mad. You've got Typhoon, Earthquake, R-Truth, Seth Rollins, Roddy Piper from They Live, and The Rock from the Scorpion King.
Mind the Scorpion King. That's a bad movie. Let's
Yes,
yeah. That's not.
yes, it is. Well, they're all still on the shelf in Smith's Toys, whereas Hot Rod's long gone.
Wrestling's the greatest performance art. Yeah, I know. One Hoot is a big wrestling fan. Big wrestling fan.
Yeah, I love me wrestling. I love unapologetically love wrestling. It's good fun.
Yeah.
The difference between watching it on TV and watching it live is like night and day.
Well, you say that, Ben. You say that. I took my son to see because he went through a wrestling phase, maybe 5 years ago, somewhere like that. And we went to Newcastle Arena to see, I couldn't even tell you who the shit it was. Some big wrestling tour thing that people got it was like a proper WWE, whatever it is, thing.
Yeah.
It was boring. I mean, the matches lasted like 5-10 minutes and then now it would happen for ages. And it was just like...
WWE wrestling was very much wrestling for mass consumption, and it was safe, and it was... Vince McMahon had his own idea of what wrestling should be. He's been booted now. He's been cancelled.
He's cancelled.
But I watch. I grew up on WCW wrestling, and I would watch Lucha Libre, the Mexican stuff, and the Japanese stuff. So where Liverpool, where I'm from, we've got a venue called the Olympia, which is like an old time 1920s. It's got to be seen to be believed. It's a shithole, but it's incredible. I've seen John Carpenter play in there,
Right.
And we used to get. Wrestling tours like Ring of Honor wrestling, and so I've seen Japanese, I've seen Mexico, I've seen all these crazy stuff you wouldn't normally see come through there as a kid, and I just fell in love with it.
Yeah,
A little bit different.
Yeah, it's just something that's I don't know why. I mean, I watched it when I was younger, when it was like The Undertaker and things like that. But yeah, Fuzzy's just saying here they also made an Andre the Giant from the Princess Diaries. He thinks.
Is that Princess Bride?
Yeah, the Princess.
That would have been.
Princess Diaries, the one with Anna Hathaway, isn't it? That would have been
Yeah.
an interesting crossover. That Fuzzy. Yeah, the Princess Bride again. It's superb film.
Yeah.
Love
With
that.
Chris Sarandon was in that.
Yeah, God, I love Chris. Yeah, I mean that's a good segue because you met Chris Sarandon. Obviously, I was very lucky to be in the audience when you interviewed him, and we also got a photo taken with him.
Did he have his?
He did, and I just wanted to mention that because James, bless him, organised that because he knows I'm a huge fan, and it was lovely. Chris was a gentleman. It was really, really kind. But I just kind of want to give a bit of a tip of the hat to Monopoly events because quite often these big organisers and corporations, you think they're just in it for the money, but they literally refunded everybody that had got a photo on that occasion, which they didn't have to do. They did it totally off their own back. I just think that was such a lovely thing to do. You know,
it was nice, that wasn't it? The boss. He obviously we had no idea that was happening.
Yeah.
And then the boss seen the pictures and was like, "Nope, everyone's getting the money back because that's not what you paid for."
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, but incredibly nice thing to do.
Fair, yeah, absolutely. And then you still got the picture. You still met Chris. It was still an amazing experience.
Yeah.
Win-win.
Yeah, and Chris was superb. He was such a nice guy. Yeah, one of my all-time favorites.
I can't believe he's in his mid-80s. Like he is. He looks incredible.
Yeah.
Really nice fella as well.
Yeah, and his panel was superb. So,
thank you, man.
We're nearing the end, Ben, over the last couple of questions. A bit of advice from you. And it can be any advice you want about any topic you want. But what would you advise the viewers on? Fuzzy's just saying that's the one. He was distracted thinking about not having a hoverboard.
To be fair, I'm still thinking about it myself.
Yeah.
Um, Advice, if you, I don't even know what advice I'd be good at giving. If you wanted to do what I did, or what you do, or what we do as like a, I don't know what you'd call broadcasting, I suppose. Be Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to try new things, and don't feel disheartened, and don't feel down if you do something that's terrible, because you will do something that's terrible. I've done stuff that's terrible, and it's. I feel like it's into that speech from Rocky Balboa, but it's how you get up and carry on going, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I've done some
absolutely.
absolutely atrocious things and some terrible stuff that I'm look back and I'm like, oh, that was cringy, or I wish I hadn't said that. And then it's all a learning curve, and it's how you apply that to what you do next.
See, I think that's fantastic advice, Ben. I think it's very easy for what to have a knock and then to kind of stay down. I'm trying to think of the quote, but it's Batman, isn't it? Why do we fall
Why do we
down?
fall? And it is why do we fall? I'll tell you something. I used to play bass in a band many years ago, and we did really well. We had 2 or 3 years of just loads of great gigs, big shows.
Yeah.
The band sort of imploded because we didn't get signed, and we were all skint, and it was tough. Late 2000s, early 2010s, it was just no one had any money. And I knew we were good. We were getting great reviews. We were getting great shows. Everyone, you could tell me all day how brilliant we were and great we were. If I saw one bad review or one person said they didn't like us, it would crush me, and I would sit there just agonising. And then one day I thought, you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. There are times when you're going to play shite.
Yeah.
It's just how you deal with that. And I think if older me could tell younger me that I would have had a much happier early 20s. But it's not something you can. You've sort of got to come to that on your own, haven't you? You've got to.
Yeah.
It's experience, and it's life, and it's context, and it's don't ever stop doing what you're doing, and don't feel like you're not good enough, because you are.
No, I think that's great advice, and that works in the real world, but also works on this whole YouTube thingy as well, because it's very easy to get disheartened if you're not getting the views and things like that. But you're right, do it because you enjoy doing it, and just keep pushing on. So yeah, very cool.
We did our first podcast in 2015, and not a lot of people were doing podcasts then. We were slightly ahead of the curve then, and then me and Neil started For the Love of Horror, the show, in 2019. Again, we beat the live streaming thing. We beat the pandemic by a year. We were ahead of that. And I managed to ride the wave both times, podcasting and then the live streaming thing twice. And I was getting lots of views and lots of listens. And people who come along after might not be getting that. And it's not that you're not good enough, because we were terrible. It's more about the timing and finding your audience. And I would do podcasting and the live stream. If there was 2 people watching or there was no people watching, I would do it because I love it, and I do it because I like doing it.
Yeah,
and I want to get better at doing what I do. And the podcast, like the interviewing thing, I'll admit to you, I watch them interviews back, and I'll scrutinise things, and I'll say about how I wish I could do things differently, and then you get up there and it all falls out your head. But
well, you can't tell that, man, because when you're standing up there, it looks amazing. So tip of the hat to you. It's phenomenal.
Thank you.
Okay, Ben. Last item to show, but what you got? Have you got one last thing to show?
I've got a couple there, but I'm gonna go with. I had Event Horizon, but I'm gonna go with Ghostwatch.
Love it. I talk about this a lot, and lots of people are totally oblivious to this. They don't know what it is.
So you get your multi covers. You get your book, the script book, and art cards, and then like a making of thing. I think this sold out before it went to general release. I don't think it made it past pre-order. But I loved Ghostwatch when I was a kid. I watched it live, and I had no idea of the controversy it caused until I was much older.
Did you when you watched it
film.
live? Did you think it was real? Because I did. I watched it live as well, and I genuinely, up until probably even the very end, I thought this was a proper show.
So I was convinced it was real. My mum had clocked the fact that it was produced by Screen One, that it was a film, and the adverts throughout the night advertised it as a film, building up to it. Then the film itself presents itself as totally real, until the end credits when it's got a writer and producers and special effects. And my mum made me sit there and read all of the credits and said, look, it's not real. I went to bed thinking poor old Michael Parkinson come to a sticky end.
What was the ghost? Was it Pipes?
Mr. Pipes, yeah, Pipes.
Yeah. And it was so well done.
When was the last time you watched it?
Oh, I haven't. I talked about it on a show I did a couple of year back when we were talking about our favourite horrors, and I talked about this in all creatures great and small. I don't know if you remember that, which was about rabies, which was superb.
Oh no.
But most of the people were like totally blank, never heard of this. It's kind of gone past. But I remember being so impressed with the camera work in terms of the camera panning to talk to someone, and you as the viewer saw the reflection of Pipes in the window reflection and stuff like that. And I was like, God.
So he's there a couple of times. So like was Craig Charles is outside the outside broadcast, and as it goes through the crowd, he's in the crowd.
Yeah, just amazing. And I mean, we did a little review of what's the recent one with? Is it The Devil?
Late Night with the Devil.
Late Night with the Devil. And I was saying, this is great. I love Late Night with the Devil. I think it could have done without the CGI at the end.
Yes.
But I was saying this is pretty similar to Ghostwatch. It's pretty similar. Like, oh no, it's revolutionary. It's brand new. It's not
Ghostwatch.
It's not like
It's Ghostwatch. And to be fair, they would probably hold their hands up and say that. There's another one that took the Ghostwatch thing was the Inside Number 9 Halloween special.
Yeah.
With a little nod to it.
Yeah, very cool.
Well, that was ace as well.
It was, and I loved their episode recently where Lee Mack hosts the game show.
Oh, that was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah. Love that. And do you know what? I've not watched any of the current season. I'm saving them all up to binge.
Very cool. There's some excellent episodes in there.
I'm really going to miss it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, me too. There's some cracking episodes. Last episode's tonight, I think, isn't it? So
is it the last one tonight?
Yeah.
I'll probably do that this weekend then.
I've gone back because they're all on Sky, so I've gone back and started rewatching from season 1, and have you
got a favourite?
It changes every time. Obviously, as everybody always says, is the Christine episode.
That was good.
That's just stunning. I love the one, I can't remember the name of the episode, where basically they're in the house and the brother's upstairs and he's Mischief, and he says Mischief at the end. That's amazing. And then I watched, what was the one I watched a couple of nights ago, and I thought, God, I forgot how good this episode is. The Riddle of the Sphinx.
That's class. That's really good.
Love it.
For me, it's I love the one with the balloon. I think that's really good.
Yeah. That's funny. Is that season 1 or season 2?
I think season 1, yeah. I really like that one. I like the one with Mark Gatiss. That was good just seeing them guys together. But my favourite episode, and you might laugh at this one, is the Bernie Clifton's dressing room. With the old comedians. Man, I cried my eyes out at that. I thought that was absolutely beautiful. And it was really funny as well. Until it wasn't. And I don't get me wrong, the horror ones are great. The stakeout with the police guys in the car.
Yeah.
I like the scary ones, but that one really got me.
Yeah, no, there are some amazing episodes in that. And that's my favourite kind of horror, if I'm honest. If I'm reading horror, and even when I'm watching horror, I like anthology things. I love things like, Trick or Treat is one of my favourite movies.
Yeah, same.
Because I love that little snapshot. Do you know what I mean? So I just love Inside Number 9. Dr. Von Hoot's just saying the Halloween special was excellent. I hadn't realised it's the last ever. Yeah, I mean, last ever. It's just
knocking it on there.
Yeah.
I'd love to see where they go next. I'd love to do a League of Gentlemen. I know they've done it in 2017, but I'd love either another tour or a one-off special or.
Well, there's going to be Inside Number 9 theatre show, isn't there? So I'm keen to get and have a look at that. That's
London. They're doing a residency in London. They did a tour. It was Christmas 2021, just as that. What was the wave of COVID? The pandemic. There was like a Omicron. Remember the Omicron wave? That sort of killed that. We went to the first or second night. It was in Liverpool. It was ace. They had a big bowl with a load of episode names. It was the guy who wrote their book with them, and they were taking questions in the audience, and they'd pull out and they'd discuss an episode, and they did a little dance. They did the Superman dance. Psychoville and everything. Boss.
I was watching that episode of Inside Number 9. I can't remember the name of that episode, but where they go to the house, and my son walked through just as they were doing the dance, and he was like, "What the hell are you watching?" I was like, "Thomas, this is just amazing. This is amazing."
More than David.
Yeah, just amazing. And I love his film reviews he does as well now and then. I don't know if you've seen him, he's got a YouTube channel. So, it's superb. I can't remember the name of the character, but I'll find it and send it to you. But the character does reviews of stuff. And
That's brilliant.
He's only got 3 or 4 videos, but he's in, it's just...
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Okay, Ben, last kind of thing to talk about. Normally I'd ask people about their channel, but instead I want to ask you a little bit more about For the Love of Horror. We've got that coming up. So if people have not been before, tell a little bit about it, when it is, and what's going to be happening this year. As much as you can tell.
Yes, because the date has fell out of my head, but this year it's October. I think it's like the 2nd or 3rd weekend in October. I've been lucky enough to work for them since 2019, and it's basically the UK's and probably Europe's biggest horror convention these days. But it's slightly different to your usual convention. You do have your signings and your photo ops and stuff like that. Where I think Monopoly have gone above and beyond is that they've made it like a festival of horror. You've got loads of props to get photos with for free. There's a massive traders room. There's loads of stuff there. But they really focus on the panels, and they let me do a lot of cool stuff. We have a big screen, the big stage, and it does, as you said, it has that big communal area where people can just... And the panels become integral to the show, which I don't think anyone expected, least of all me. And then you've seen it when we have the Terrifier panel or the Lost Boys and stuff. People just crowd up, and it's like a gig atmosphere, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just incredible, and some of my favourite panel experiences. Again, I don't do names. Zach from Gremlins, you had him there a couple of years back.
He's
just
really cool.
Amazing. Just amazing. So it's a real fun event. I've been for a couple of years now, and just been blown away by the scale of it, because it's huge. But even though it's huge, it feels quite personal, if that makes sense. Yeah. It doesn't feel very corporate. Do you know what I mean? It feels very relaxed. Yeah.
And I think that's credit to Andy and the team at Monopoly. Like all the guys above me, I'm pretty low down the totem pole. They put a lot of work into stuff that you don't see, and they spend time. Like Bowlers is their venue, so they can make things a little bit more... I don't know. I don't know the way it is. More personal, more intimate. Yeah. But for such a big show, everyone seems to know everyone. There's a great community atmosphere, and I've made an awful lot of good friends through working for that show, and it's been one of the best things I've ever done in my life, definitely.
I would also add it's got some great party style atmosphere as well to it. So last year we did the Friday night live kind of panel. Watching of the Lost Boys, which was amazing, and then there's the party on the Saturday night, I believe, and the Sunday as well.
So I don't think they've announced any acts for the after party or the pre-screen filming this year, pre-film show this year. So on the Friday night, if you come in or if you haven't got your ticket yet, there's going to be a film screening. It'll be a film of one of the guests from the show, and they'll be doing like a live commentary during it and a talk after it. So last year, for example, we showed Lost Boys with David doing the commentary, which is very cool. And then me and him had a little chat and took questions from the audience after it, and then everyone stayed and had a pint. And then the after show on the Saturday usually has a few live bands. Last year we had Rocky Oki as well, which was live band karaoke, which I think might be coming back this year, which was brilliant, genuinely brilliant. Have you ever fancied singing? They give you the lyrics on an iPad that will change as they're playing, and then you get up there and play your song to a live band.
Wow. Yeah.
Very cool. And then previously they've had like a Rocky Horror experience. They had G. Tom Mack from the Lost Boys, Tim Capello. Yeah. Keith Lemon turned up one year, which was really good.
Yeah. Tim Capello's become like a bit of a legend at it now, hasn't he?
He has, yeah.
Yeah, he's always there, bless him. Yeah, it's superb. So yeah, really do recommend people check that out. Like I say, myself and James have done it for a couple of years in a row now. It's just such an amazing feel to it. It's well worth going. If you like horror, but even if you don't like horror, it's just a great kind of atmosphere and to have a look around. So recommend you go to do that.
I think you're right there as well. If you're not into horror, usually most of the guests have done other stuff.
Yeah.
The year we had Matthew Lillard, the amount of people queuing up to meet him dressed as Scooby-Doo was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And this year we've got Keith David, who's in The Thing and They Live, and he does voices for Disney. He was Dr. Facilier in The Princess and the Frog, and I already know there's going to be loads of Disney fans there waiting to meet him for that.
Yeah, it's an amazing experience. Really do recommend people check it out. Ben, that's the end of the questions. Can I just say a massive thank you? You've been superb. Really have enjoyed chatting with you. So it's been great fun. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad that you wanted to speak to me. I've loved doing this. It's been a lot of fun.
Good stuff. We'll have you back on something in the future, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. Anything you want.
I'll hold it. So just before we go, a little bit of kind of promotion over on One Good Scare Show, which is my other channel with James T. Keegan, where we do horror based content. We're going to be live on Friday night with our usual Friday night horror show. I do all the horror news and stuff, but there's also a whole host of reviews, movie reviews and retro movie reviews to go check out. Latest one is Wishmaster. That's a guest I would like, Ben. The guy who plays, oh my god, that voice, Sex on a Stick, he's just amazing, honestly. And that's a cracking movie.
Really, really good. So Peter Atkins, who wrote Wishmaster, wrote Hellraiser 2, 3 and 4.
Yeah.
He's very active on social media. You should definitely try and see if he'll come on and do a little chat for you.
Oh yeah, mate. Yeah, definitely do.
He's Scouser as well. Yeah. Last year, when he lives in LA now, but last year when I interviewed Claire Higgins from Hellraiser and Hellraiser 2, I sent Peter a message and asked him, "Have you got any cool little tidbits for me to ask?" And he did. He sent me. He said, "You don't need my help. You'll do really well. But here is this. See if she remembers." And she was made up.
Oh, bless.
So I'm a big fan of Peter Atkins. Yeah. So I think you should drop my line.
Yeah, drop my line. I'm a huge fan of Wishmaster, and James watched it for the first time when we did this show. Never seen it before, and he was gushing about it. So over the moon with that. It's just fun. It's a fun horror, you know.
Yeah, so, and the cameos as well, man. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So if you're interested in taking part in This Is My, please do give us a shout. We'll like lots of guests, so please do let us know if you want to do it. We've got a few interesting people lined up. So we've got Mickey from Swaggle House Comics on Saturday. We've got Chris from Comic Tropes on the 19th. We've got Patron of Comic Arts, who's a massive collector of some incredible commissions and artwork, so that's going to be fun. And on the 6th of July, we've got Cliff on Comics, which will be a riot because Cliff is a hell of a guy, great character. So looking forward to those. Over on my channel, got my usual live shows on a Monday night and all my usual content, and our review of older movies. Latest one was Rocketeer, which again, amazing film, absolutely amazing film. Doesn't get the praise it's due. So that's your whack. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Again, Ben, massive thank you to you. You've been absolutely superb. It's been great fun talking to you. I am incredibly jealous of the people you've met and spoke to. It's amazing. But you do, and I genuinely mean this because I've seen you on stage a number of times now. You are genuinely superb interviewer, and you put people at ease and get the best out of the guests, which I absolutely love. So thank you for that. It's been great watching you on stage.
And you don't slouch yourself, because I've enjoyed this and I've felt incredibly at ease.
Good. Thank you so much to everybody in the chat. It's been a pleasure seeing you all once again, and with that we'll call it a night and we'll catch you all next time. So take care, everybody. Bye.